There's something deep and wild about life that you only notice when you stop trying so hard. When you finally let go of control, the things you've been chasing begin to show up. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's just how energy works and how life flows beneath all the noise we carry in our heads. When you hold on too tight, needing something badly, your energy becomes stiff. That tight energy blocks what you want. It's like trying to hold water with your fists. The harder you squeeze, the faster it slips away. Think about the times you really wanted something. Love, answers, success. And the more desperate you became, the more it moved away. But then came that moment when you got tired, when you said, "Whatever happens, happens." And suddenly, things started showing up. Doors opened, people came, opportunities appeared. That wasn't an accident. When you stop needing, your energy shifts. It moves from fear to trust. And trust is powerful. Because need says, "I don't have it, and I'm scared, I never will." But trust says, "I'm already enough. If it comes, great. If not, I'm still okay." This small shift changes everything. Letting go is not about giving up. It's about stepping aside and allowing life to do its part. When you're always trying to control how things happen, it's usually out of fear. Fear that things won't work out. Fear that you'll fail. Fear that if you stop trying, it will all fall apart. But that's the trap. Life doesn't respond to pressure. Life responds to peace and flow. Have you noticed how the best things happen when you're just living? When you're in the moment, not stressed, not checking the clock, not holding the future too tight. The friends that stayed in your life, you didn't force them. The amazing chances that came, you stumbled into them when you were relaxed and just being you. The times you felt truly alive, they weren't planned. They just happened. That's because life isn't reacting to how hard you try. It's reacting to your energy. When your energy is calm and real, you become more attractive to good things. Not because you're begging or pushing, but because you're at peace. You're trusting. You're aligned. And when you're aligned, the things meant for you don't need chasing. They find their way to you. Here's something people don't say out loud. The more you chase certainty, the more confusion you create. When you're desperate for answers, when you demand clarity right now, you shut down the space for new paths to show up. Life is smarter than your plans. It's putting things together behind the scenes. Moments, people, chances that you can't even imagine yet. But when you're stuck on one idea of how life should go, you miss the better version life is trying to hand you. Think of the times something fell apart and you thought it was the worst thing. But months later you saw it was the best thing that ever happened. That's life working for your deeper needs, not your surface fears. So the more you let go, the more space you create. Not for nothing, but for something better. Trust is not sitting back doing nothing. It's powerful. Trust says, "I'll show up. I'll give my best. But I won't stress over how or when things happen." That's where real strength is. You move forward without dragging fear behind you, and something beautiful starts to happen. People are drawn to your energy. Things come together with less resistance. Life stops being a fight and starts to flow, because trust is magnetic. Fear repels, trust attracts. But most people don't trust life. Not really. We've been taught to trust fear more than possibilities. Since we were young, we've been told to prepare for the worst, protect ourselves, expect pain. So, of course, trust feels scary. It feels unsafe. It feels like standing on the edge of a cliff with no safety rope. But here's the truth. You were always on that edge. Life was never controllable. All the plans, all the overthinking, they just made you feel safe. They didn't actually protect you. Real safety is learning to move with life, to ride the waves, not try to block the ocean, to dance with the chaos, not fight it. When you trust, you don't stop caring. You just stop suffocating your dreams. You stop trying to force them into place. You stop panicking about how they'll happen. And you start realizing something amazing. What's meant for you isn't fragile. It doesn't need you to hold on tighter. It needs you to open up, to show up with open hands, not clenched fists. Everything you're forcing right now, every person you're chasing, every goal you're clinging to, you're actually pushing it away. Because fear blocks, trust invites. And the moment you take a deep breath and say, I trust life to lead me, the pressure starts to drop. The road becomes smoother. Things begin to happen faster, but without stress. You're not standing in your own way anymore. But when you're tired and say, whatever happens, happens, something strange happens. Life begins to move. Doors that were shut start to open. People you didn't expect show up. It's not random. It's not luck. It's your energy shifting. It's you moving from fear to trust. And life, believe it or not, responds better to trust than to desperation. Because when you need something too much, you're saying, I don't have it, and I don't believe I ever will. But when you let go, you're saying, I'm fine either way. I'm whole already. If it comes, great. If not, I'm still okay. That tiny shift changes everything. Most people think letting go means giving up, but it doesn't. It means you stop standing in your own way. When you're always trying to control how things go, you're acting from fear. Fear that it won't work. Fear that you're not good enough. Fear that if you don't push hard, everything will fall apart. But that's not how life works. Life doesn't grow through pressure. It grows through flow. Have you noticed that the best things often come when you're relaxed and living your life? You weren't checking your watch. You weren't overthinking. You were simply present. And that's when the good stuff found you. Think about your real friends, the ones who stayed. You didn't force them to like you. It just happened naturally. The chances that changed your life, they came when you were focused on your own path, not when you were begging for attention. The most powerful moments, the ones that made you feel alive, they weren't planned. They just happened. That's because life doesn't respond to effort the way you think it does. It responds to energy. And the cleanest, most powerful energy is calm, peaceful, and trusting. Not needy, not desperate. When you're in that space, life flows to you. You don't need to chase what's already meant for you. Let me tell you something most people won't. The more you chase clarity, the more confusion you create. When you demand answers right now, when you need to know everything immediately, you close yourself off from better paths you don't even see yet. Life is smarter than your plans. It's weaving opportunities, meetings, ideas behind the scenes, things you could never imagine. But if you hold on tightly to just one version of how things must go, you might miss something even better. Think about when something you wanted fell apart. You panicked. You thought, this is the worst thing that could happen. But months later it turned out to be a blessing. That's not a mistake. That's life answering a deeper part of you. Not your surface wants, but your soul's needs. When you let go of needing things to happen at a certain time in a certain way, you create space. And in that space, better things can arrive. Letting go isn't being lazy. It's being wise. It's trusting that if you show up with open hands, life will meet you halfway. You move forward, yes, but without dragging your expectations like chains behind you. And when you do that, people see the difference. Opportunities flow to you more easily. The things you once fought for come with less struggle, because the energy of trust is not heavy. It's light, attractive, magnetic. But here's something deeper. Most people can't trust life because they've been taught to trust fear more. Since we were kids, we've been warned. Plan for the worst. Expect pain. Protect yourself from being let down. So of course, trusting feels scary. It feels like you're being foolish, like you're standing on a cliff with nothing holding you. But here's the truth. No one tells you. You're already on that cliff. You always were. Life was never something you could control. All the planning, all the stressing. It just gave you the illusion of safety. Real safety is learning to ride the waves, not block the ocean. It's learning to live within the chaos, not to fight it, not to wish it away, but to dance with it. Like your body always knew the rhythm. When you start trusting, you don't stop caring. You don't give up on your dreams. You simply stop trying to force them. You stop smothering them with fear. And you realize something powerful. The things meant for you aren't fragile. They don't need you to grip them tightly. They need you to meet them with openness, peace, and faith. Everything you're trying to control, everything you're pushing too hard for, you're slowing it down. But the second you breathe, the second you say, I trust life to guide me, things start moving. Faster, yes, but also gentler, because you've stopped getting in your own way. And here's a quiet truth. Most of your struggle isn't from doing the wrong things. It's from doing them with fear in your heart. That whisper that says, if I don't make this happen, I'll lose everything. So you start panicking. You work harder. You stress more. But results don't show up right away. And you think you're failing. But you're not failing. You're forcing. And life doesn't respond to force. It responds to flow, to peace, to trust. That's where the magic is. When you move with trust, you build momentum. Not pressure, not resistance, but smooth, steady movement toward the life you're meant for. There's something wild about life that you only realize once you stop trying so hard. The moment you let go, everything you were chasing starts finding its way to you. This isn't magic or luck. It's simply how energy flows and how life works underneath all the noise we create in our minds. When you hold on too tightly, needing something to happen, your energy tightens. You start blocking what you want from entering. It's like trying to hold on to a river with your fists. The harder you squeeze, the more the water slips right through your hands. Think about all the times you've desperately wanted something. Love, success, answers. The more you pushed, the farther it drifted. But when you got tired, when you said, whatever happens, happens, suddenly doors opened, opportunities appeared, people showed up. It wasn't coincidence. When you let go of needing it, your energy shifts from scarcity to trust. Life responds better to trust than fear, because needing says, I don't have it, and I don't trust I ever will. Letting go says, I'm already whole, and if it comes, beautiful. If not, I'm still whole. That subtle shift flips the entire game. Most people don't realize letting go isn't about giving up. It's about stepping out of the way long enough for life to work for you instead of against you. When you try to control every outcome, you're coming from fear. Fear that it won't happen. Fear that you're not enough. Fear that if you stop trying, everything will collapse. But that's the trap. Life isn't built on force, it's built on flow. Have you ever noticed how the best things come when you're just living? When you're present? When you're not watching the clock? When you're not squeezing the future so tightly that you can't breathe? Think about it. The friendships that lasted, you didn't force them. The opportunities that changed your life, you stumbled into them when you were doing your thing, not begging the world to notice you. The moments that made you feel alive, they weren't planned or manufactured. They were lived. That's because life isn't responding to your effort. It's responding to your energy. And your energy is clearest, cleanest, and most magnetic when you're at peace with yourself. Not needy, not desperate, just trusting. Because when you trust, you're in alignment. And when you're in alignment, the things meant for you don't have to be chased. They arrive. Here's something few people tell you. The more you chase certainty, the more you invite chaos. Because needing everything to make sense right now, needing every answer immediately, closes you off from the paths you can't even see yet. Life has an intelligence deeper than your plans. It's weaving possibilities, opportunities, meetings and chances far beyond what your mind can orchestrate. But when you're clinging tightly to one idea of how things must unfold, you become blind to the better ways life is trying to hand you. You know those moments when something falls apart and you panic. You think it's the worst thing that could happen, and yet months later, you realize it was the best thing that ever happened for you. That's not an accident. That's life answering your deeper needs, not your surface fears. The more you loosen your grip, the more you let go of needing a specific outcome at a specific time, the more space you create for something even better to rush in. Trust isn't passive. Trust is powerful. Trust says, I am showing up fully, but I am not desperate for this to look exactly how I think it should. It's about moving forward without dragging your expectations like heavy chains behind you. When you embody that, you start to notice people are drawn to you differently. Opportunities find you more easily, and somehow, without fighting so hard, the things you once struggled for start unfolding with less resistance and more magic. Because the energy of trust is not frantic, it's magnetic. And life always answers the energy you lead with. And here's where it gets even more real. Most people don't trust life because they've been trained to trust fear more than possibility. From the moment we're young, we're taught to plan for disaster, to expect betrayal, to protect ourselves from disappointment. So naturally, trusting feels unsafe. It feels reckless. It feels like you're standing on the edge of a cliff with no harness. But here's the hidden truth nobody tells you. You're already standing on that cliff. You always have been because life was never controllable in the first place. All the plans, all the micromanaging, all the anxiety, they only create the illusion of safety. Real safety is learning to surf the waves, not trying to dam the ocean. It's learning to be alive inside the chaos, not fighting against it, not begging it to calm down, but moving with it, like a dance you've always secretly known. When you lean into trust, you don't stop caring about your dreams. You just stop trying to wrestle them into existence. You stop suffocating them with pressure, and you realize something powerful. What's meant for you isn't fragile. It doesn't need you to squeeze it tighter. It needs you to meet it halfway with open palms and an open heart, not clenched fists. Every single thing you're trying to force right now, every person you're chasing, every goal you're strangling, you're blocking it by gripping it with fear. instead of meeting it with trust. And the moment you ease that grip, the moment you breathe and say, I trust life to lead me where I'm meant to go, everything starts to move faster, but softer, easier, more naturally, because you're no longer standing in your own way. And here's something nobody really talks about. Most of the struggle you feel in life isn't because you're doing the wrong things. It's because you're doing them with tightness, with fear underneath, with that voice in your head whispering, if I don't make this happen, I'll lose everything. You start to grip harder. You start to panic when results don't show up immediately. You start to think maybe you're failing, when really you're just forcing. Life doesn't respond to force. It responds to alignment. When you're acting from fear, you create resistance. But when you're acting from trust, you create momentum. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who's effortlessly magnetic? Not because they're trying, not because they're desperate, but because they're relaxed, because they trust themselves, trust their path, and trust life to carry them. It's like they have a different energy field around them. And here's the secret. You can have that too. You don't need to become better, stronger, or more impressive. You need to become lighter. You need to remember that you're already enough without needing to squeeze life into a perfect timeline. Because the moment you stop trying to control every outcome, the outcomes you want start flowing to you naturally, like a river that finally finds its course when the boulders are cleared away. The less you panic, the more you open. The less you chase, the more you attract. The less you grip, the more you grow. It's not about doing less. It's about being different. You become a calmer, wiser version of yourself. Not because you forced it, but because you trusted yourself enough to allow it.